Hello, it's Tangi from Papercrafting Australia. Thank you for joining me for another Crafternoon Box tutorial. Today we're going to be working on a card project with a wood grain background. Can't say that to save myself. Never mind. It's Saturday afternoon. I hope you're all well and thank you for popping back and joining us once again. If you're joining us live on YouTube or Facebook, please leave a comment. Let us know you're here, where you're from, if you've never been here before. We're just going to chat along for the next probably hour and create a card project and go from there. So I'm just going to quickly check in. Sorry for the squinting. I'm facing the window again today because I still can't find the power cable for my overhead light. So we'll figure that out as we go along. Hi, Tony. Thank you for joining us. Tony says, good afternoon, everyone, on this fine lockdown crafty session. Hope everyone's well and staying safe. And Margaret from Canada's here as well. Thank you, Margaret. I'm just going to make sure I've got my little, my Facebook channel tuned in as well. Ollie, hi. Thank you for joining us. Who else we got? Sharon, Mum's here. Thanks, Mum. She likes to come in and see what we're all up to. But yeah, we're here for the second tutorial that we are going to work on for the month of July. As I said at the start, we're going to be using the wood grain technique. So we're going to be using inks to create a fake wood grain effect and put that on the front of our card and decorate from there. So I'm just going to switch over to my overhead camera. Let's have a look at all the stuff that's on my desk today. Wow. There's a fair bit. So we're also going to do, I'm going to step back a little bit and do some more embossing today. So I'm going to show you a slightly different technique that we can use to use clear embossing powder, but to make it look like we've got coloured embossing powder, which is kind of exciting and fun. So this is the card that we're kind of heading towards today. So it's the wood grain panel type background, and to do that we are just going to use the ink colour from this month's Crafternoon Box, which is Soft Stone, the Gina K Designs ink. So this is just the regular dye ink. I've also got the craft colour, so the slight light brown, and I'm using my Obsidian amalgam ink. Now there's no reason that you have to use amalgam ink. It's just what we've had in the kits this year so far. So I thought it's just kind of helpful to actually go back and just use the products that we've had in the kit. And as we keep building on it, you can see that there's different things that we can do with those. So this one, it's kind of a bit more of a masculine card, but it's suitable for anybody. Just a nice simple background. We're going to use scoring tools. So you're going to need either a scoreboard and a bone folder or other implements to make score lines. You're going to need your ink pads. I'm going to use a stamp press today just because I'm going to stamp with ink and then stamp with embossing, and I want to be able to get the stamping in the same place. But if you've got good hands and good eyes, you can use an acrylic block. So that's up to you. So I've got all the embossing gear that we normally have. So the powder bag, I've got my clear embossing powder and my embossing ink. I've got my usual Couture Creations glue pen, some scissors, and I've got my favourite tapes. So the Couture Creations double-sided foam tape, that's just for the sentiment, and just the Craft 1 centimetre wide double-sided tape, but any double-sided tape that you have is totally fine. So I've also got the cute little Ticket Creator stamp set that's come in the July kits. So this one again is from Paper Rose, so photopolymer crystal clear stamps. So you can see here we've got, let me put something white under. We've got the main ticket stub. And all of these little bits and pieces fit inside these, either the small little stub on the end or the main part there. So you've got your happy birthday, best wishes, party time, love you, thank you. And then you've got some other little bits and pieces. So there's some stars and some hearts that you can use to put inside that or to decorate on the rest of your card. Hi Deb, thanks for joining us. Good to have you back. Hope you are well. We've also got our Couture Creations A6 card and envelopes, so you can buy those kits. The link is in the YouTube description and the Facebook description today. I've gotten organised, woohoo! So it's all there ready to go. I've also got some of the little embellishments from the Papercraft Explorer 6x6 patterned paper. and also some of the little wooden chipboard pieces and a couple of other little embellishments that have come from that set. And I've got just some cardstock to use for the background border and also the ink panel. So just I've got the Papercraft Smooth White. These are basically just some scraps that I had, but they are the right size, so I'm just going to cut those down. I've got the Couture Creations Photographic Matte Black cardstock, and I'm using probably for my belly band or some kind of embellishment. I've got the Papercraft Weave cardstock, and this is in concrete colour, so it's very similar to the soft stone once you get it onto the cardstock. But yeah, hi Jenny, thanks for joining us. Glad you could make it. You've only just seen what we've got on our desk today. So we haven't started anything yet, but we'll get into it. I've also got some baby wipes here just for cleaning off my stamps and things like that. I have very poorly packed in the move from the old house to the new house, and I'm nowhere near ready to be making things again. But here we are. We missed a couple of weeks, so I'd rather get back into it and get going. All right, I'm just going to pop these pieces aside. I've also got some scrap paper here. You can see that I was inking on that one before, so this is just to protect my work surface while we're doing the inking, and also it's been folded because I used it to get my embossing powder back into the little jar. So that will be helpful. I've also got somewhere, oh there it is, it's on the other side of the world. Well, that's going to be, I'm just going to have to move my heat tool, guys. Just bear with me 2 seconds. It's on the windowsill, but nowhere near where I can reach it now that I've moved my desk into a different position. Let's plug it in here. Now it'll reach. Of course, you'll need a heat tool, hairdryer, something that you can use to get your embossing powder to set. Now, you don't need embossing powder. You can just keep it as plain stamps. That's totally fine. Completely up to you. All good. Alrighty. Just going to bring my stamp press down, try and move a few things out of the way for you. So I'm going to start by, we'll do the embossing parts first, just because that makes a lot of mess, and I'll be able to clean up quite a bit of stuff off my table, and we'll be able to work from there. Okay. So today I'm going to do some inking and then embossing over the top. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because I find that having a lot of embossing powders is kind of a bit of a waste when you can get this effect with any colour ink stamp that you've got. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, you've moved over from Facebook, Margaret. Was it a bit quiet over there today? We like to have it in 2 places just in case one of them decides to throw everybody for a loop for the day. But yeah, thank you for popping on over. Okie dokie. So first of all, I've just got the little ink, the ticket stub. I'm just going to pop that, put it a little bit further up so I don't waste quite so much cardstock. I am going to trim this down. Now, the reason I'm going to use the stamp press is, as I said before, just so that I can keep my stamp in the same position, because we're going to want to stamp the, we're going to want to stamp with the ink and then let that dry, and then we're going to want to stamp with the embossing ink and then do the powder from there. So I'm just going to pop that back into a new place just so I can get my little magnets to hold the cardstock in a good spot. So I'm going to do this with my soft stone. Yeah, sometimes one works better for watching, does it? Oh, okay. Is that because you've got things on a big TV, Margaret? I know some of you like to watch on a TV in your craft room. Hopefully I can get that set up before too long. All right, so I've just inked up that stamp. Just going to make a nice solid looking impression, which is good. Grab my little baby wipe. Lord knows where my my Gina K Designs Tidy Towel's gone. I packed it really well. All right, so I just need to be gentle cleaning this off so that I don't move the stamp. You know how sometimes they just kind of don't adhere to the window very well? So there's not a lot of ink on it because it's a fairly small stamp. All right. Okay, now that I kind of know that this is dry, it's the dye ink, so it soaks into the paper really quickly, and you can do this fairly well. With the amalgam ink, not so much. I'm going to have to dry that and heat set it for just before we do the embossing section. But I'm just going to pop that little powder bag on, give it a little dusting so that all my stuff doesn't go everywhere, stick where I don't want it. You said Facebook's been glitching all day for you. Ah, that's no fun. All right, give that a nice good inking. Just going to pop that down. Give that a good press. And then because these ink pads are still quite new, I'm just going to give it a second go, because I don't want to not have a good amount of coverage on there. So I'll take my little powder here, sprinkle that over. Dust off my, my little magnets. And I've gone and done this all out of kilter because I've, here we go, not had my little catching sheet underneath. Tony, you've got a computer and a monitor in your craft room? Yeah, I think I'll be heading down that path once my cabinetry arrives on Monday. So exciting. All right, I've got to move a few things and shake this off because I've done myself a disservice today. I'm still hungry. I haven't had lunch. All right, I'm just going to tip this powder back in here. Pop the lid on because I don't want to have that flying all over the place if I accidentally knock it. And I'll just hit this with my heat tool and get it to make its little magic happen. Now, how are all my Sydney friends, New South Wales friends going? Are we surviving lockdown? It's not been the greatest of weeks numbers-wise for you guys up there. Hopefully a bit of craft time puts a bit of a dent in the boredom or the anxiety, or maybe some of you are still working, so you're essential workers. Alrighty, I think we've got that bit well and truly melted. Alright, I'm just going to let that dry just a little bit. I'll put actually, let's do what I'm supposed to do. Pop that back in under there so I've got an easier way to shake off all of the bits in just a minute. Pop my magnets down. I'm just letting this, the melted embossing powder just dry and cool so that I don't rub my fingers through it and smudge it. Clean off my stamp while I'm there. Pop that back. All right, now I want to put a couple of other bits into this. So on my previous one, I was quite happy with what I had put in there. But what I did with the grey pieces, I actually just stamped them and I didn't emboss them. And now I'm kind of thinking I'd like to emboss them. So I'm going to pop these ones on in grey, and then I want the happy birthday part to be kind of the focal point. So I'm stamping that in a darker colour in the black amalgam ink. Okay, hopefully we're kind of straight. Hard to see over there. Yeah, Tony, the numbers today weren't too pleasing. We're up to what, 163 today? Not fun. Where have I put my ink? Under the paper. Not so good. I'm just going to ink these up. So you'll be able to see, once you've done the first one, you'll be able to see that now that the embossing powder's on, it makes the grey stamping now look like it is embossed, which, I mean, it is technically, but it is an undercoat of the ink and then the embossing powder on top. So you can basically make any coloured ink look like it's embossed. So I love it. I actually love it. Give that a little bit more of a hit. And then we'll go in with this little one. And because it's clear embossing powder, you don't have to be too precise, I guess. It's just putting a gloss and a coating over the top. But it is good if it's nice and sharp and it looks the same as the stamp did. Yeah, Sharon, Adelaide, obviously having extremely long wait times in their queues for COVID testing at the moment. So that's lucky that you haven't been out anywhere to the exposure sites, because I feel like their exposure sites are quite numerous. Excellent. So I've got the grey with the embossing powder on that there. Shake that back in. Put my lid on. You've got 3 weeks off from the 27th. What's the 27th? Tuesday. Is that 3 weeks like annual leave, Tony? Or do you have, like, are they forcing you to take leave? Just getting this all melted. There we go. All right, getting back on this for one more round and we'll do the happy birthday sentiment. Just give it a sec. Just while that cools, clean off my stamps. Pop them over there. I chose some sentiments today. Oh, Deb, you're still working through lockdown. Gosh, must be a scary time working in healthcare. I think in any healthcare setting at the moment. Do I do happy birthday or do I do party time? I'm going to put this like today's highlight. Best wishes, dream big, in bits and pieces. What do you think? I might just go happy birthday again. It makes sense in a lot of contexts. Oh, Tony, you've got annual leave. Just haven't had any time off in 18 months. It's good to stay home. Yeah, I think that's good. It's very clear that there's a lot of people in the New South Wales area that are not staying home. Given that, you know, the numbers are, you know, sort of in the 50s every day of people who were contagious in the community while they were contagious. Just kind of making sure this is straight. I don't think it is 100%, but we'll go anyway. All right, so I'm just taking the Amalgam Black Obsidian ink. I'm just going to ink up that stamp. Get myself a good impression here. We hope. It actually came out pretty good first time, but I like my black to be super crisp, super black. I'm just going to give that one more tap. Beautiful. All right, clean this little guy off. Now, as I said before, the amalgam ink does take a little bit longer to dry. So I'm actually just going to hit that with my heat tool just to make sure it is dry before I stamp the embossing ink on. I've lost some words today. I think it's because I haven't had lunch. And I've been unpacking too many boxes and cleaning things and all the boring parts of moving house. Cool. If that's not dry, it's never going to be. Just tap on a bit of powder. I mean, do you You just see people in general public settings just not doing the right thing, and you just want to walk over and bop them one. I don't know how you manage when you're working in healthcare and seeing that happen on the daily, as well as all the extra stress of the work. Can't be fun. Absolute heroes, all of our nurses and doctors at the moment. I know we've had, Ben and I have now had both of our needles, both of our injections. So we're 2 weeks past our last injection. So we technically are fully vaccinated now. Obviously, we could still contract it and we could still pass it on. So, you know, still got to do the right thing. And it's just sucky when you see people not doing the right thing. Let's hope we can get more people than not doing the right thing. I heard there's some big protests going on in all the capital cities today. All these anti-vaxxers and COVID deniers. I know the lockdowns are upsetting and I know they're difficult for a lot of people, but it kind of makes me wonder what today's society would be like, you know, if we actually had to go to war, or, you know, I don't know, just lots of people just seem a little bit selfish. Lockdown protests in Wollongong at the moment, Tony. Yeah, Melbourne's had them. Apparently there was a big brawl at one of them and they've arrested a bunch of people. I mean, as they should. Okay, clearing space. So now that I've done the embossing on that, so you can kind of see it's a little bit better than just a stamp. It's got a little bit of gloss to it. You can feel it. It looks more professional, I think, than just a normal stamp. That's not appropriate for every sentiment you do and everything you do, but I just wanted to show you that technique today. I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to do the F word and fussy cut something, but I'm literally just cutting straight lines. I'm not doing anything too strenuous today. I've still got to clean the old house tomorrow. We've had concreters in all week. Not all week, but they've had to be in and out this week doing what they need to do. So we've now got concrete paths around the house. Hooray! Kind of starting to feel like a house. All right. Tidy up a couple of these things and we'll get on to the background. Let's see. Let's bring my card over and make that up. Give it a little burnish. Got my little matching envelope. Too good. Oh, Margaret, you've got 2 shots. You're good. Fantastic. Well done, you. All right, so I'm going to cut 2 panels. Let's get all my bits and pieces out of the way. Found my ruler in a box today. Had to go looking, but I found it. All right, so now I'm going to do another black background, matte, but you can do whatever colour you like. I'm just going to do it in this colour because it makes my life easier. So we need to do, just making sure this piece is actually long enough. Well, I think it's cut just to the right size. So we're going 13.7 centimetres, 137 millimetres, whichever way you like to go. 30, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's already cut to size. By 9.5 centimetres, or 9.5. Whichever way you like to say it. 95 millimetres. I'll just, oops, that's not the right piece to check it on. Double check that. Yep, nice and even. And then I'm going to cut a panel that is 9 centimetres by 13.2 for my inking. So So I've got 13.2 here. This is cut off my other one from before, and 9 centimeters wide. Now hopefully all of our streaming's going smoothly today, because Ben's he's playing a game at the moment online with his friends, and the NBN seems to be way better here than the other house. So that's kind of good. I'm just going to cut a 1 centimeter strip. I wonder if you can hear him from the other room. I've got the door shut. There's a lot of laughing coming from that other room. I don't know what they're up to today. They're playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. But I don't know. I don't know what the storyline is today. So I'm just cutting a 1 centimeter strip, just of the concrete coloured cardstock, and I'm going to use that as a bit of a belly band decoration. I'm done with that trimmer, I think, so I'll pop that aside, and I'm just going to get my little scrap piece of paper back, brush off all the little flaky bits that were on there, and I lied. I'm not done with this yet, because I'm going to use this to do some score lines in the background card, so that we can make these lovely board marks. It kind of helps everything fill itself in. So I'm just going to score for these ones. I just scored at 1 centimeter intervals, so that we can get those boards. But you can do them at regular intervals. You can make it 1.5 centimeters, or you can do them at irregular intervals. It's totally up to you. But I'm just going to go across and score every 1 centimeter. Give it a good going in. Your cardstock will start to kind of curl up a little bit. That's totally fine, just from the number of scores that we're putting in. It kind of makes the card want to start curling. We'll flatten it back out when we start inking on it. What is that, Mum? You had to go to the pharmacy today and a young guy was wandering around without a mask? As in a staff member, or just a member of the general public? I hope he did have an exemption. I think that the tricky part is that because people go so bonkers about their rights and this, that and the other, no one wants to challenge people when they're doing the wrong thing these days. And I think that might just be where our society is getting a little bit bent out of shape and backwards. All right, I'm just going to turn this around so that I can more easily do the end scores. I feel like maybe something I've cut might be a little bit crooked. Let's see. I mean, timber's not perfect. It's natural. Hey, oh, don't cut. Has made a little cut, but I'm just going to cover that up. It's all good. All right, now I'm done with that. So as you can see, because we've put all of these in, we've kind of, it's started to curve. But that's okay, it hasn't gone too bad. And we can fold it back. Everyone was using the QR check-in and wearing masks. He was the only person I saw without a mask. Oh, general public, yeah. Oh, look. They're pretty full on and crazy. I swear people do it just to be challenged, because they want to have a fight. I don't think they actually have exemptions. I think they just want to be argumentative. All right, let's get this timber wood grain started. I'm going to take the craft coloured ink pad, and it doesn't matter whether you've got the ink cube or the larger ink pad. All I'm going to do is just drag it from off the paper onto it and down to the end, just like that. And you can, use a little bit more pressure, use a little bit less pressure. Just give it a bit of a go. I'm just going to flip it around so that I can access this side a little bit more easily. Just drag it up and down gently, just till you've got a certain amount of coverage. Oh, made a little bit of a mess on that bit there. You can go back in and just grab the bits that you want to put a little bit more on. So see how I've got enough down here, but a little bit more needed in there. So I can just lightly drag it on and then push a little bit harder when I get to those points. All right, I'm going to stop there with that colour just for the moment, and I'm going to jump in and grab the soft stone. Now you can do this with different colours as well, these natural kind of colours. As long as you let this ink dry in between, you're not going to drag other colours on. I'd be very careful though if you were using, I don't know why you would, but I don't see why you couldn't, use something like a yellow or any of the lighter colours. I would just be careful of dragging, you know, yellow across something that's already dark or is darker than the yellow. So I'm just going in with the soft stone ink pad, just giving that little bit of a weathered look. I am going to go back in with the brown craft colour just in a little bit. Now, because we know these Gina Kate inks do take a little bit just to settle and smooth out, then you know, I just like to give it a little bit of time to just do that in between each pass, and then go over it with the black at the end, because that one does need a little bit longer, being the amalgam ink that I'm using today. A little bit longer just to settle in. Oh, it looks like poplar trees or birch, does it, Margaret? Yeah, it's kind of a nice, I mean, it's hard to tell because I'm using natural light and the light is kind of going up and down because we've got clouds today from out of the window. But yeah, it's like a nice light colour. If you've got, you know, darker brown inks, by all means, this technique will work exactly the same, just to give you, you know, different colours and textures, and it's a quick, easy way to get a bit of a background. It means you don't have to keep timber looking cardstock or patterned paper on hand. You can just create the background that you want. All right. I might just go over it one more time with the grey. If I wasn't to use the grey in this one and I was just to use a darker brown, it's going to look like more like newer timber, whereas this is kind of like, you know, a bit more weathered type of timber. It's been, you know, it's like when you've got timber fences and they've, you know, been up for 10 years and they've just greyed out. I think it's quite good though. You can make it as warm or as dark as you like. It's just about the different coloured inks that you use. So play around. You know, it'd also be interesting to see how it comes up with the grooves going up, because you'll get, actually, let's do it. Let's do it while we're here. We'll do both sides. Ooh, that's interesting. Because we're getting the getting more of the ink on the lines and less of it in the panels, you've got to be a bit more dexterous with your ink pad control just to get some more ink into those sections. I quite like this. Whoop, flip, off we go. Just depends. You might like the white lines between the timber panels, or you might like to have them a bit darker like this. See how you go. Certainly a little bit more control needed to kind of get your ink pads into those little sections. Get over it with my corrugated iron, Tony. Yeah, I reckon if you did your lines, like if you had a scoreboard that's got closer lines together, you could definitely get some corrugated iron looking stuff in here. Oh, this is making my lines very dark on this side now. I mean, that's not to say it's not going to work out. It's just going to take a lot more time to kind of get in and get colour into those little grooves. I'll go back to my other side because it is working, you know, it works quite well. I'm going to give that a little bit more brown again. Just keep layering it up till you're happy with the colour. And I mean, we're looking to kind of, I guess, fill most of the white sections, other than the lines down the middle. Just going to give it a little bit more towards the tops, oops, a daisy, and the bottoms, just to weather that a little bit more. Happy days. Looks realistic, Deb. It does look pretty realistic, doesn't it? It's certainly an interesting kind of technique to be able to come up with, whoops, a little bit of timber. So I'm just going at this with the black, I'm just going very lightly. Some might say too lightly. And I'm just going to give it a little bit more at the top and bottom. Ugh. Just to make a few darker edges on there. Just like that, maybe a little bit more in the middle there. Ta-da! Oh, Margaret, absolutely. It's definitely a technique that you can use the larger ink pads for. I'm just using the cubes because they're at hand and they were closer in the top of the pack to be able to do. Jenny, yeah, dark blue with the grey would work. I've also seen sort of like a duck egg blue with the grey. But, you know, and it basically just comes down to, it doesn't have to look like floorboards. It's just a nice background. It, yeah, comes up really well. So play around with different colours that you've got and see what you can come up with. Like I said before, you know, we've always got the other side of the cardstock if you're happy to have the raised bits there. So I'm just going to pop some double-sided tape on the back of these and put this card together. That's a great question, Margaret, about whether you can use the bigger ink pads. I think I started to say it before and then just went, I don't know. I said, I've got these, so this is what I'm doing. Would be also an interesting technique to do with some distress inks or some oxide inks. Give it a little bit of a spritz of water. Oh, hey, Marie's here. Hi, Marie. You've been lurking. Watching in the background. It's good to have you. Good to have you here. Gearing up for a double banger next weekend. Maybe we'll still be in lockdown, maybe we won't. We'll all just have to wait and see. Have a little practice on some plain paper first, Margaret, just some photocopy paper or something like that. Just to get a bit of a just a bit of a guide for how heavy-handed you can be. Marie, it's okay, it's no problem lurking. It's just fun when we know who's here and we can have a little chit-chat. Okay. Make sure my bin is handy so I can pop my little scraps in off the back of this. Start to get this all loaded up. So before, on my example card, I actually went in over the top of my stamping. I went in, and I don't know if you can pick it up, but I've gone and put the ticket stub stamp just over the top, just very lightly. And I think the grey is a really good, the soft stone colour is a really good one to do that with, because it just is, you know, you don't have to worry about it being too dark and heavy-handed. You could always double stamp it if you wanted it to be a little bit darker. But yeah, I really like that for just adding a little bit of something extra. When I looked at it initially, I was like, oh, it just looks too bland, too open. So I just added those little stamps on. Oops. There's that piece. Marie, you can lurk all you like. That is true. I mean, hey, it's nice of you to be here live, but it's also just as good if you're watching it on the playback. That's what it's there for. If you don't catch it live, because we've all got lives, you can't join everyone every week. Even I can't do every week when things happen in life. God, having a heck of a time getting this one off. Come on. There it goes. All right. Try and get this centered. I can't wait for my new desk to arrive. I don't know if you can hear it today, but this trestle table that I'm using is just squeak, 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 creak. It's driving me crazy. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to do a little bit of a strip, just a little bit like the other one that I had. That didn't work so well for me. No, that is it there. Oh God, there's some fun voices coming from the other room at the moment. Sounds like Mickey Mouse is in the other room. Oh, Ben does some pretty funny voices in those games. Pretty funny. All right, what I might do is I might center this one. I've got kind of like with these colours, this green that's coming in as well. You could also use the jungle green cardstock that has come in the July kit. That I think would go well. Chippy choppy. Look at me doing so much fussy cutting. Might be able to tuck that just a little bit under there. Right, I think we're getting this together. I don't think I need that one. Right. Oh, do I glue it? Do I? Oh, my desk wobbles a lot. Yeah. I was like, what is wobbling? Sorry, guys. That's just me banging into it because I just want to be as close as I can. Right, I'm just going to glue that a little bit there. I'll be able to stand up next week at my new sit-stand desk. That's going to be exciting. So exciting. All the new things. I'm not so excited about the amount of dirt that I'm going to need to get brought in and wheelbarrowed around the property to get my garden beds levelled. That's going to be pretty boring. If anyone's not doing anything in a few weeks' time and we're out of lockdown, you're all invited to a dirt moving party. I kind of want to get that on a bit of an angle. I'm not keen on straight things. Yeah, some nice new furniture. I've got to put it all together first. Listen to me whinge about having new things. Okay, that one can go there, and then I'll do my favourite. Pop this up. Yeah, look, it's coming in stages. There'll be a desk and some cupboards next week, and then we have to wait a couple of weeks till we have more time to get the shelving up on the walls and the pegboards and all the other fun stuff. But it'll be nice to have some cupboards and some bench tops and workspaces. Tony's on leave for 3 weeks. Tony, got some flat pack furniture for you to put together. I've got, a couple of cubic meters of dirt. Yeah, no, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Would not wish that on anybody. I'm hoping I can somehow get out of some of it. I'll do it while Ben's still on holidays, on leave. There we go. So a couple of cards with a wood grain background. Hopefully that technique, definitely comes in handy for you. Tidy up all my little inks there. Yeah, hope to see some of you be able to use that in some cards and things. I'll just jump back to, whoops, that's not the right one, camera-wise. Yeah, so hopefully that those techniques help you with creating some backgrounds for some more masculine cards or some more natural or neutral cards. I know we've done quite a few tutorials now where we're using quite bright colours and vibrant things. Sorry about that, but August is very, very blue. There's lots of bright. I've just been putting together some little packs for you guys for, you know, there's some little goodies, little extras that you don't know about that are going to come out for you with the blue themed August. But I thought it would be nice to do some more natural colours and things like that. So it would be great if you share your final pieces, or even just if you've come up with a really good colour combination. Take a quick snap of it before you finish your card and pop that up on our Facebook page and share it with the rest of the group. I'm sure they'd love to see what colours people are coming up with and what kind of project you're putting out in the end. Next week we are going to make some tower block cards. So they'll be fun. Get your pens and papers at the ready because there will be a lot of measurements coming out for you. I do apologise in advance. I'm going to try and get a cheat sheet ready for you as a PDF too so that you can download that and have that all there. But we'll see how busy my week turns out this week. We're also going to do 2 tutorials next week because it will be the final weekend of July, and I missed 2 weeks earlier in July because of moving house, so we'll catch them up. So we're also going to be doing, I don't have it with me at the moment, the little pocket albums. So we'll do those probably on the Sunday. So we'll do one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and we'll be able to get through all 4. I've still got to pack August kits and get those out to you this week so that they are here for, within the next 2 weeks so that we can kickstart August with a bang. And there'll be a launch later this week. I'm like, when's the 30th, 31st of July coming up? Last day of the month, we'll be doing the launch for the September kits. So I might sneak a few little sneak peeks out to you of some things that are coming in that kit because I'm super excited about how cute that's looking. But yeah, thank you for joining me. If you've liked the video or liked the tutorial today, please do the thumbs up on the little YouTube videos. Hit the like button or the love button or the whatever button on Facebook that you can find. It all goes towards the more people that like those kind of things, the more Facebook and YouTube suggest it for other people to have a look at. So that would be really awesome. But I hope everyone stays safe and sane in our lockdowns. Fingers crossed that we are out of them soon. So Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, all in the same boat at the moment. But fingers crossed, we're not too far away. Thanks for joining me and have a lovely week. I will catch you all very soon. Bye.